Okay, kids, I'm going to show you some ideas for how you can make a homemade instrument kit just with stuff that's laying around at home. So, here we go. First step is to ask. Ask any grown-ups that are around if you're wanting to use something for your instrument kit. I'll show you some ideas, but make sure you ask first. First thing we're going to talk about is stuff you can tap. You might find some metal things that you can tap together. You might find a couple of spoons. They don't even have to be the same size, and they will do a nice job. You can even get fancy and put them together in one hand. You can see if you can make any nice fun sounds like that, tapping them against your leg or your hand, or turn them toward each other. See if you can do anything fun like that. Tap them together, see what happens. So we can tap metals. We can also tap plastic. It's probably going to be easy to find some plastic laying around. We have a lot of plastic. You might have a cup that's made out of plastic. You could take one of those spoons that we just had and use it like a drum. See what you like. Tap the bottom or pick it up. Tap the side. It makes a different sound. Put it inside and wiggle it around. See what you like. Try different ways of playing it and see what you like. Or you might have a container that some food was in before, and you might want to tap around in there. Okay? So we can tap plastic. We can tap metal. We can tap wood. It might be tricky to find wood, but if you have maybe some popsicle sticks, if you got very lucky and got some popsicles, then you might have some leftover popsicle sticks somewhere. Or you might have something I don't know about that is wood, and those could tap together. You can also rub them. That makes kind of a cool sound. Try different ways. Try rubbing the skinny edges together. Try rubbing it fast. Try rubbing it slow. See what you like. See what's fun. Maybe put them together and roll your hands around. Like, can you get them to rub up against each other, maybe? So just find different ways. If you get lucky, you find some wood, and the grown-up said, yes, you can have it, then you could also, if you have like some markers, crayons, pens, something like that, you could color a design on there. So a very fancy looking drum kit might have a decorated wood stick in there. Okay, we can also do something with scraping. We could do a scraper. Now, this might be a new thing for you. If you have some cans of food at your house, if there are some cans, and if your grown-up says, yes, you can play with them, here's the deal. Underneath this paper label, you might not know this, but underneath there are some wobbly, wavy grooves in the metal. And if we take the paper off and we take something and scrape against that metal, it will make a cool bumpy sound. Ready to try? Let's try. We're going to take the label off. I'm going to try and save it so that when I'm done playing with it, I can tape it back on so I remember what kind of food is in the can. Okay, there we go. Hey, look, there they are. Those bumpy, wavy groove lines in the metal. And it's not a special kind of can that has this. I bet you if you have a metal can of food, I bet it will have these bumps on it. So I'm going to take my spoon that we had from earlier and I'm going to scrape. Listen, what kind of sound do you think you will hear? I'm going to scrape it. Here it comes. That sounds kind of cool. So I can scrape on that tin can. I can tap it. I could tap the top. I could tap the bottom. If your grown-up says, yes, you can have this, and if it already doesn't have food in it, just watch out because the edges can be sharp. And I would not want you to get cut on it. So just watch out for that part. So there's a can of food that we can scrape. Could you scrape it with anything? Yes. Even if you have a pen, even if you have something we didn't talk about, scrape it with your finger. Try different things. See what you like. All right, we talked about scrapers. Hey, get rid of your trash. Pick up your trash, young lady. Okay, we're going to talk about shakers. Here comes a shaker. Here it comes. We have different ways of making shakers. I bet somewhere there's some plastic. Maybe, if you're lucky, maybe you'll find a piece of plastic that has a lid still, but you do not need a lid to make a shaker. So this used to have cottage cheese in it. Now it's empty. I washed it out with soap and water, but if you don't find soap, that is okay. Just use a lot of water, and if there was food in it, rinse it out really well. Because if there's a little bit of food left in there, it will get stinky, and that might not be as fun. Remember to ask your grown-up, but if you're looking for making a shaker, I bet you will be able to find some things that you can do with a shaker. So on my food container, I have the lid. Okay, so when I decide what I'm going to put in there and then I put the lid on, then I can make my shaker. I can use anything. I could go outside and get some rocks and put them in, put the lid on, and since rocks are hard, then when I shake it and they hit the plastic, it will make a nice shaking sound. Or if I want to try something different, then take the rocks out. Let's try some coins. We had a few coins laying around, some money. So, since they're hard, it will make a nice shaking sound. Put the lid on and shake it. Ooh, nice shaky sound. Or here's another way. I'm going to show you one more way that you can make a shaker. I used rocks. I used coins or change. Anything that's hard. So I looked around in my kitchen and I found something else that was hard. I found some butterscotch chips, kind of like chocolate chips. Well, anything that's hard will work, like beans that are not cooked, rice that is not cooked. Just make sure you ask your grown-up. So if we put a few butterscotch candies in there, there they are. Then put the lid on and shake it. It makes a nice shaking sound. Those look good enough to eat. Okay, remember I told you if you don't have a lid, you can still make it work. If you find some paper and cover it, maybe that could work. Maybe finding a small container. If you don't have a lid, then look for a small container, because then maybe covering it up, even with your hand, would work. Like if I was using this little plastic cup for my shaker and I put my rocks back in there, then even if my hand is not very big, I can just cover my hand on it and it still shakes. Okay, good. And, oh, I forgot one thing. I forgot something else. to show you about the scraping part. Remember on the scraping part we had with the tin can of food? We also could scrape anything that is bumpy. So this honey container has bumps along the side. So that could scrape too. Good one. All right. You might find things that I didn't talk about. If they are things that your grown-up said, yes, you can, then put them in your kit. And maybe you will even find, a little box, maybe an old box that nobody needs anymore, or maybe some kind of plastic container. And maybe you will put all your things in your box, and maybe you will have your own instrument kit, your homemade one. Okay, have fun. Play some good music. See ya.